information, and you know, and things start showing up, and you obviously try and put two and two together. So the last race that's just happened, we've just made another very substantial profit in the last race. Not the biggest odds that we've ever had in our world, but you can see here that the little horse called King's Joy, we had it at a rating of 1.71, which you know is obviously against that 1.3 or higher is a very, very, very strong rating. And King's Joy won at 9 to 4. So we made £2,000 profit on the horse. It's not the biggest winner we've had today, but it's still 2,000 profit on a horse race. We've had 100% winners on every single race in terms of, we haven't won the race necessarily, but we've got our money back on that one that got a place bet. And this is how the syndicate works. This is how the syndicate works when we're looking at it. We've got inside information. We've got inside information that gets fed into algorithms, and we churn out the numbers. We churn out the numbers. In some races we don't touch. Some races we're not interested in getting involved in, and we leave well alone, and we just obviously pass on through that. And that's, you know, it's an incredibly profitable process. And you know, and obviously it's a great process for us to try and you know, capture a few bob here and a few bob there. But sometimes, like the earlier trades that we had today, that big winner that we had earlier at 14 to 1, I mean, that's a big win. That's a £14,000 winner right there. 14 grand on horses, plus we've had a 6 to 1 winner, a 7 to 1 winner. We've probably done over £25,000 today, at least £25,000 today in horse racing profits, which is a pretty good little return for not an awful lot of outlay and a very, very limited amount of risk, which, when you think about it, you know, and as I said, a lot of people wonder about horse racing and why we talk about it against the markets, because horse racing it's fixed in as way as it's not, the outcome's not necessarily fixed, but it's the same as everything else. It's all about inside information, Alan. It's always going to be about inside information, isn't it? If you've got a horse that's training really, really well, we know how horse trainers get horses into the right races, because they run them at the wrong distance. They run them with a crap jockey in the last race. They run them over 2 miles instead of 1.4 miles, and the horse can't run 2 miles, and it comes last, and it comes a bad last because it doesn't have the stamina for 2 miles. But that any of the punters, the public, think about what the public see. Horse ran 2 days ago, 5 days ago, or 2 weeks ago, came last out of 14 horses, 50 lengths behind the winner. Yeah, that's going to get a lot of punters in the shops backing it, isn't it? Not a chance, right? Not a chance. And that means that when the odds come out, nobody backs it. And if nobody backs it, the bookmakers open up the odds a little bit. Maybe they open the odds at 10 to 1, and they push the odds out to 20 to 1. Nobody's backing it. Then you know that the horse is actually in now 1.4 miles. You know the horse is a good bet because you've ran it over the wrong distance in the previous race. Doesn't guarantee that it's going to win, but then you back it at 20 to 1 because it's far, far better than a 20 to 1 shot, right? It doesn't mean it's going to win the race, but the horse has now got value. You now have an edge to try and capture some money out of that race. You've got an edge to try and take the money from the bookmakers. And obviously that's where you now go into the markets and say, right, let's get that edge, let's make that trade, let's get that bit of business done. So let me just get the next results for you. We'll show you what the next race was, and we'll show you, you know, what edges do. So this was, we're back in Ireland again for the next race. Does everybody see what horse we would be backing in the next race, guys? Anybody? Anybody see what horse we'd be backing? If you look down the list, you'll be able to recognise that we say 1.3 or above is the best horse, right? So there's 1.5 just there. There's the 1.5 just there, right? It's the horse called Pepsi. So that's the horse we're going to be backing in the next race. So the results have just literally came in. It was ran 8 minutes ago. The race was run 8 minutes ago, and this is the results of the race. Pepsi just won at 14 to 1. That's another £14,000 win. Look at what horse came second. Satin Snake. Satin Snake was our second rated horse. Look at what horse came third. Pandemic Princess. Pandemic Princess was 1.28. Do you see all the other horses not even listed in the first three horses? So you can see that the first three horses came out of my top four ratings. And the winner was the 14 to 1 shot. £14,000 profit. We did have two bets in that race. We had this one here and we had Satin Snake because of the odds on it. We were getting 2 to 1 odds on that. So we took the Satin Snake for £1,000 and we took the Pepsi horse for £1,000. We've just made £14,000 minus the 1,000 we lost on Satin Snake. We've just made £13,000 profit on that race again. Another £13,000. Inside information, guys. It's the only way you ever win in any market. Oh no, we do lose races a lot, Miguel, because it's still a probability distribution. But because we've got a probability edge against those horses every time they run, the edge always comes out eventually, doesn't it? The edge always works in our favour so long as we run a good enough bank on it. The edge always works in our favour. I bet there's a few people that wish they took me up on that offer of the syndicate membership. Remember we were talking about that a few months ago, Kim? Yep, you'd have made £250,000 a while ago. You'd have made £250,000 if you'd taken us up on that one. Which is pretty good.